Upper chest training is not complicated, but there are 3 things that you need to know right now. So the first thing I'll say is that you can't chisel a pebble. And in most cases, I hear guys complaining about an upper chest when the reality is their entire chest is lacking. Basically, you don't need specialization if your base has not been established. You can't bench 2 plates yet? Bro, why are you worrying about these inclines? Why are you worrying about something so insignificant right now when the mass isn't existing? Your pecs aren't popping out of a t-shirt? You take your shirt off, you don't got that hang going on. You can't do a pec bounce, you can't do basic things, your strength thing there. Bro, let's build a base, chisel later. And recognize that when you do flat pressing of any type, the entire chest contracts. Yeah, you can emphasize a little bit more through inclines and through special exercises, which I'm going to talk about at the end of this video. But the point remains that when you flat bench, your upper chest is still being worked. And you can't tell me that a 4 or 5 bencher is going to have a small upper chest, even if he never does inclines. Now, he probably will to get to that point, but that's besides the message I'm trying to say right now. Get stronger, and that progressive overload journey will lead to thick upper chest, especially if you're running a maximized system, where you're not neglecting certain areas. And by the way, when you do overhead press, your upper chest is also being worked. So you got that combination, which is very common in most novice systems, you should be fine. So besides that obvious point, there's a second thing you must understand, which is the fact that you're not going to have a monstrous pop. These fitness influencers that you see on Instagram talking about their upper chest secret, they look like that because they take steroids. You're not going to have an upper chest exploding out of your collarbones. There will be development. It's going to look great. It's going to look pretty decent when you take your shirt off or you're wearing a tank top. Not saying it's going to be underdeveloped, but don't have unrealistic expectations. Understand that the androgen receptor sensitivity is greatly enhanced in the upper chest when you take that stuff. And this also includes the shoulders and the upper traps. But those areas can actually be developed quite nicely as a natural if you know what you're doing. And I have a complete yoke playlist which goes over a lot of techniques. So shoulders, you can get both the shoulders, but you're not going to have the 3D crazy pop 24/7 when you're completely relaxed. Upper traps, fairly easy to build if you're doing everything right. So I need to make that clear before I give you the actual solutions. Because the real secret is taking a bunch of drugs. Because that is the one area that is most impacted by steroid usage. And that's usually a dead giveaway that a guy's on stuff. So that'll bring me on to the final segment of this video, which is probably what you came here for, right? But I had to explain the other stuff first, which is how do you actually build the upper chest? Well, it's probably nothing that you haven't heard before. At the beginning of this video, I talked about how you want to emphasize incline pressing. Only thing I'll say with that is you should probably use a closer grip and not keep the angle too steep, or else it becomes a lot more similar to military pressing. So I would, on the adjustable incline bench, use the lowest setting, 30 to 45 degrees maximum. And you know me, I'm a big fan of higher exercise selection, so I would definitely recommend mixing up the styles. Doing the regular barbell incline press, doing it with a pause, the Swiss bar, dumbbells, whatever variation you can imagine, give it a shot. This is really the most optimal way to press to specialize this area. Some guys recommend reverse grip benching as well, but in my experience, I don't really find it to be the best for that. Of course, I talked also about overhead pressing. Guys don't realize it, but that will thicken up your upper chest. If you can do overhead press 2 plates for reps, you're going to be pretty thick in that region. Again, not like that crazy steroid pop, like in point number 2, but you will have some decent gains. A lot of guys don't even do inclines. I was like that for a very long time. I still had a decent upper chest. Another exercise you might want to consider is the landmine press. You could really get a nice squeeze on this variation. And of course, the incline angle is present, so you should develop quite nicely. In 2016, I did a lot of landmine pressing in addition to overhead press, and actually improved quite a bit in that area. And the final thing you could do is some unconventional type stuff like upper chest shrugs. Some guys have reported great success with it. Personally, I've yet to include that in my routine, but I have no doubt that it would work. And then there's your classic cable flies. I recommend doing it low to high to get the best squeeze possible. And besides that, there's not much I could really say. There is no secret in building the upper chest. It starts by developing your base strength. This way the whole chest contracts and you get some decent mass coverage overall. And then you start chiseling. It's like I'm always saying, build the cake, isolator. And obviously you have the realistic mindset that you're not going to have the most insane pop of all time. You're going to stop comparing yourself to Reuters. You're just going to look at yourself and be like, you know what? I don't have a lagging upper chest. This is what it should be like. So I hope this video brought you some good insight. Let me know if this eased your mind a little bit. And if you're going to employ some of the strategies I talked about, let me know if you've done some of this stuff in the past before. And with that said, I am done talking.